Greetings and salutations, I am Scojo in 360, gearing up for the winter. The snow is on its way. If you've been paying attention to my channel, the snow in Central Oregon is awesome, so I'm getting prepped. But the rumors are true. This Insta360 One X borderline fanatic has actually pre-ordered the GoPro Max. What? Now first I should point out that for the entire time I've been using 360, I've been using an Insta360 One X because I'm too small of a blip on YouTube to be getting advanced models of cameras, so I've been paying out of pocket. And that's kind of a cool way, that way you can get some unbiased reviews. But I've just had one camera for the last year. GoPro suddenly announced their Max camera, which looks like it's going to be a much better upgrade from the Fusion, because the Fusion was kind of a train wreck. So let's break down the things that are good about it, but there are a few things that you might not like either. Oh, and one last disclaimer. I never had the Fusion, and I don't have the Max right now. I'm just going off of the information released on their trailer, which I will use to show you right now. So I am making no solid claims on this. All I can say is that the things that made me buy it are the things that made me buy it. Let's rock. First up is the dual interchangeable lenses. Now, I'm still a little confused as to whether or not the actual lenses are replaceable or whether they just have removable lens covers. But all I know is after sustaining a $108 repair on a broken Insta360 lens, it's my own fault. I'm glad to see some lenses that are going to be hardcore and they're going to take some abuse, which leads me to the second reason I decided to get the GoPro Max. Now, if you don't know much about GoPro is mainly known kind of for their engineering, but they lean too hard on their engineers. So a lot of times their workflow and their form function and user ability is pretty bad. And that was true for the Fusion. Everybody loved the video quality coming out of it, and everybody loves the ruggedness of GoPro. But the workflow and dual SD cards and all that stuff made it pretty difficult for somebody like you and I to just run the camera. But again, what they excel at is engineering and ruggedness, and this new camera is going to have that ruggedness in their camera, which is very much appreciated because, quite frankly, with the Insta360 One X, unless you're using a venture case, you are putting yourself open for damaged lenses, damaged bases I've seen on the base of the selfie stick where it gets snapped off. So the ruggedness on the Insta360 One X is not the greatest, but GoPro is going to be rugged and waterproof. Now, we are not talking scuba diving level waterproof, at least at this point. It says it'll go to about 5 meters, which is about 16 feet to us US people. So that's not really for scuba diving. Now, I have not heard any announcement as to whether or not they're going to have a dive case for it, but I've got to imagine there's going to be something. But the waterproof nature of this is going to be fantastic because if you watch my channel, I spend a lot of time in the outdoors, and I spend a lot of time around snow, which is wet. And so I'm going to love having these waterproof functions. Now, another one of the big deals for this camera is going to be the LED screen frontward facing. Oh my God, this is going to be so great because if you've watched my channel at all, you do know that I have major complaints with the screen on the Insta360 One X. Kudos for them for even having one, but it is horrible in the light. So we'll see if the GoPro Max actually ends up with this LED screen that you can see when it's actually light out. So stay tuned for that full review. But it's going to be so nice to have a screen so you can see things as you're doing them without having to pull out your phone and the app and go through all that stuff. So major kudos for the frontward facing screen, which leads me to another function that is making me get this camera: vlogging in 360. That's right, you heard me correctly. If you have been paying attention at all, you realize that most of the vloggers in 360, for 360, do not actually shoot their vlogs in 360. They shoot them on regular cameras, and then they add in 360 footage because the audio on 360 cameras sucks. Now, Insta360 did release a new update that makes the audio better on this camera, but frankly, it's not the greatest. So now, with the frontward-facing screen, you can actually watch yourself while you're vlogging. And yet, there's another vlogging major aspect to this camera that's even better than that. Let's talk about it. I am a bit of an audiophile. I strongly believe that bad audio equals bad video. Unless you're just shooting action and you don't need any audio, you need to make sure you have good quality audio. So GoPro is touting shotgun level mic quality in their audio and 6 spatial microphones on the camera for when you shoot in immersive, which is another thing that isn't quite as popular yet, but is going to catch on as the fully immersive video. So the audio on this thing, in theory, should be very high quality. And that's going to make somebody like me so happy, because normally when I want to get good audio, I put like a wireless lav mic, like a Rode Wireless Go, on my backpack strap. That way you can hear me clearly, but now that will remove that in theory. I won't have to go back and sync up my audio in post. Thank you. Now they are touting the new GoPro Max as 3 cameras in one. You can use for immersive 360, which again is an area of 360 that is only going to be getting bigger and bigger. You can reframe your 360 video into flat video, or you can just shoot it in hero mode like a normal GoPro. So you're getting basically almost a GoPro 8 and a Max all in the same camera. So 3 cameras in one, major bonus. Now, while I am not a huge guy that has to have the highest resolution, the highest specs and everything, I do like frame rates, and that is one of the weakest parts of this upcoming GoPro Max, is that it only shoots up to 4K 60 frames per second. It does not shoot 100 frames per second like the One X does at 3K. So bottom line is 100 frames per second at 3K, you're getting lower quality video, but God, the slow-mo on this thing is just dynamite. I love it. But in full disclosure, if you take a look at some of my other videos, I also pointed out one of my favorite settings on the One X was the 4K 50 frames per second. Well, this new GoPro is supposedly shooting 4K 60 frames per second, which gives you like 2 times slow motion. And that was my go-to setting on this camera, and it still is to this day if I'm shooting any action whatsoever. So frame rate, not the greatest. Is it still going to be decent? I'll take it. Finally, there are some people that are making some pretty good criticisms about the specs of this camera. There are some aspects that on paper are even not as good as the Insta360 One X. They are touting 5.6K, which is odd considering they're releasing a new camera, and the One X shoots 5.7K. But the bottom line is that the Fusion was really known because of its sensor and its lenses, so it wasn't shooting at the same resolution as the One X, but a lot of people basically consider the Fusion to have the better footage. So it's not just about the resolution of the camera. I have a video about this a few videos down. Be sure and check it out after you get done watching this one. Also, the bit rate has been cut down. The megabits per second have been sort of theoretically cut in half. But again, A, that removes the second SD card, and B, take it from somebody who produces video for a living, the resolution and the megabits and all that fun stuff, it's great to have. But ultimately, the thing you really need to focus on is getting a good shot and telling a good story. So do the people that are complaining about the specs on this camera resonate with me? About this much. I'm not really that concerned about how great the resolution on this camera is. I'm concerned about how great a video I'm going to be able to shoot on it. So am I jumping ship on the Insta360 One X? Oh, hell no. You should always try different cameras. They all have different functions they needed to serve. I'm just curious at the price of $499 US, which is only $100 more than the 1X, if the ruggedness, the waterproofness, the audio, and all that are going to be worth investing in this camera. If nothing else, you'll get some more fun reviews from me as we head into the winter time. So stay tuned. We don't have our hands on camera yet. I will be releasing reviews as soon as I get the camera, but for now, yeah, can you believe it? Scojo is going to camera number 2. I wish companies would just give me free cameras, but they don't.